Alright, so welcome back to cooking some desserts, cooking the basics. We are now on to a mother of the pastry world. This is called Pastry Cream. This will be incorporating milk, whole milk always, never skim milk unless you only have skim milk. Still go to the store and get whole milk. We have cornstarch, egg yolks, and today, seeing that I'm going to be incorporating this into a tart and I want to make it lemon, we're doing lemon zest, and this is going to be the zest of half a lemon. And then we also have sugar. And so pastry cream is very, very simple to make. It's just, for myself, I was never taught how to make it, and then once I was taught, I try to make it at least probably once every week, once every 2 weeks, because it holds for 3 or 4 days for yourself. So now the first thing to do whenever making your pastry cream, you need a spatula, you need a whisk, you need a sauce pot, and then also you need a mixing bowl. Okay, what we're going to put in the mixing bowl will be the sugar, will be the egg yolk, cornstarch, and then 1/4 of the milk. Okay. So now with the other 3/4, we're going to put that into the sauce pot. And now we're going to heat this to a boil. And with that, we're going to go ahead and put in the lemon zest as well. I'm going to put this, now we're going to put it over medium-high heat. But you don't want to go at a very, very high heat. And the reason being is that milk has fat in it, and guess what? If you go at a very, very high heat, you have the potential for it to burn. So medium-high heat. Now what we're going to do here, we're going to whisk everything together that we had in the bowl. Until it's very, very smooth and homogeneous. So now all we're going to be waiting on is for the cream to come to a boil. And you want to constantly watch your milk/cream. And the reason being is that once it gets very, very hot, it will now rise up very quickly and can overboil. And that's one thing you don't want. But once it does become to a boil, what we'll do, we'll add a little bit of the hot liquid into the egg mixture, whisk it into it, and then we will now proceed to then take the egg mixture, put it back into the sauce pot, and then all you have to do is cook it on medium-low to medium, and then we're going to cook it to just a slight boil, because then that means everything is homogeneous, and from there we'll pour right into our pastry tart. And so whenever you see the smoke billowing up, that means guess what's going to come next? A boil. About 1/4. You already smell the lemon juice. And then now this mixture is going to go back into the original milk with lemon zest. I'm going to now use the whisk. And the reason that we're going to cook it on medium as opposed to a medium high is because we don't want anything to burn. Alright. And it will get very, very thick very, very quickly. The one thing that you always need to think about is to make sure to let it boil. If it does not boil, it won't stay. And so say you make a lemon tart that we're making now, in one day it'll actually seep out of the tart. And now the pastry cream has gotten very, very hot very, very quickly, and I'm seeing my bubbles all the way around, so I'm going to go ahead and pull it off the heat. We're done, we're good to go. I'm going to just spin it just ever so slightly a little bit. We need to go ahead and put it into our tart base shell, and the reason for that is so it'll set, and you want to have that shape. Just make sure you get all the goodies out. because they do add up over time. Alright, so now I'm just going to spread this out over our tart. Make sure you go all to the corners, aka the edges. So it's lovely. You can see the lemon zest dotted in throughout the pastry cream. And it looks like there's a little, what that is, but we'll get it off. It's a little bit warm. And now we have the 2-layer base, and then we'll just have to finish up with some meringue a little bit later on. And guess what? Now you have a tart, and you know how to make pastry cream, a pie crust, and then we'll do some Italian meringue. Okay, so welcome back to the dessert portion of, again, the simple basics of cooking. One now meringue that we're going to be incorporating is the Italian meringue. There are a lot of different meringues. We actually don't have an American meringue. Yet, with that being said, the Italian meringue is a very, very good meringue to top any kind of tart. It's very shiny, it holds its place very, very well, and it can be slightly, I guess, technical, but seeing that we're only doing 3 products, I'm going to take you through all the steps of it, of how to execute it very, very simply. What we have here are egg whites, and they're at room temperature, by the way. We have a little bit of water, and then we have a lot of sugar. Again, a meringue has a lot of sugar just in general to make sure that it binds together with the egg whites once we whip them. So first and foremost, we're going to have our egg whites, and we're going to pour them into a mixing bowl. And now we will be utilizing a mixer behind us, and so what I'll do, I'll actually put this in with the whisk attachment, and we'll set that on medium low, so it's around a 2 to a 4. And while this is whisking, we now have our sugar. We're going to put into a casserole dish, a light saucepan, with our water, and we're going to make a very, very, very thick simple syrup. And just for everyone out there, a simple syrup is usually equal parts of sugar to water, but seeing that again, we're going to do a very, very thick simple syrup. The sugar to water ratio is about 4 to 1. And so this needs to come to a boil. Once it comes to a boil, then we'll actually turn off the heat, pull it off, and while this is whisking, incorporate it into it so that now it will harden. So let's get started. And now that our mixture is boiled, all the sugar has been now incorporated. Our egg whites are at a frothy stage, and what that means is that they have air bubbles on top. And so what I'm going to do now is once this mixture boils completely and all the sugar has dissolved, pull it off, and then what I'll start doing is streamlining, and when I say streamlining, is doing a very little line into the mixer, and then we'll turn the mixer on high and let everything whip until it's cooled down completely to room temp. So it's going to get a little loud in here, so I do apologize about that. You might need earplugs. Start off on the lower setting as well. The Italian meringue is now completed, and the reason that I know this is because now I'm able to feel the bottom of the mixing bowl, and it's at room temperature, and that's how you can tell very easily that the Italian meringue is finished. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to scrape off the whisk so slightly. It's very, 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 very sticky. So I'm not doing a good job of scraping it off as much as I thought it was. Alright, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to begin to now put on top of our lemon tart, pop one dot right in the center. Another dot on the other side. Another dot here. I'm just getting everything out for us. Lovely. So now with everything, all I'm going I'm going to do is go around. Now whenever you're working with any kind of meringue, push in but also go in circular motions. It's kind of like you're filling in a coloring book. And when you're filling in a coloring book for any pastry, always go to the ends first, and then you can color in everything else very, very quickly. Alright, so now all I've been doing is twisting as I'm now pulling, just to make sure that the pastry, the Italian meringue is all the way around. So now you have a few options. If you like it round, old school style, you're now perfectly set. If you'd like something different, what you'll do, get you a spoon, use the back of the spoon, and then you're just going to dab it and pull up. So boom, oh, there it goes finally. And what you're doing is just creating a little bit of layers. And now if you ever want to go one step further with this, with the way that it looks, you can then turn on your broiler in your oven, put it on low, and then you can put the pie here, and then it will darken. Only let it go for about 30 seconds to a minute, and then it will darken on top and it'll become toasted. So if you want a different look for the top of your pie. But now this completes our Italian meringue, and also this completes, and I think this is the moment of truth now. Yep, everything came out beautiful. Our lemon tart with Italian meringue. So, buon appetito.